What's going on, everyone? So, it was reported that despite the Sixers indicating that they would accept an offer of a Clippers unprotected first round pick swap, players to match salaries, and Terance Mann, two people involved in the negotiations, say Clippers president of basketball operations, Lawrence Frank, reiterated that the team's stance that Mann would not be part of their offer. Well, according to Bobby Marks, Mann is in the first year of a two-season, $22 million extension signed in October 2021. He is eligible for an extension up to 3 years and $54 million if he signs before Monday. But reports came out that Terance Mann won't sign with the Clippers contract extension before the season. Not happening, he says. This could very complicate things, right? Because now there is this sense of like, hey, we could end up losing Terance Mann for nothing. And how would that look? Right? Like, imagine if you had a chance to trade Terance Mann to go get James Harden, and you end up losing Terance Mann for nothing, and you don't end up with James Harden. Right? Like, look, Terance Mann is a solid player. Great defensive guy. You know, offensively, not going to jump out the page to you, but he has been good for them on the offensive side of the basketball. Last year he shot like 39% from three, although it was like on like 2.5 attempts. But still, right? Like, he's a guy that has been solid for the Clippers. He's not James Harden. Stop. Like, right? It's so silly to me, which is why I just don't believe that the Clippers are really that interested in James Harden. I think they're looking at it as like, if we can get James Harden for essentially free, then sure. You know, like, yeah, we have to trade some picks. We don't have any picks for the foreseeable future anyway, right? And so why does that matter? And then we unload a Marcus Morris and like a Nicholas Batum or a Robert Covington or something, and we get James Harden, right? They're looking at it like that, and they're going, yeah, like, come on, that's a no-brainer. But, like, let's not pretend like Terance Mann is an all-star or some great player. Right? Like, don't get me wrong. James Harden is a big bag of headaches right now. Right? He is doing everything he can to just self-sabotage himself. Like, seriously, the dude is just... He's done it the last several teams he's been on. He did it in Houston. He did it with the Brooklyn Nets. And now he's doing it with the Houston Rockets. It's like, at what point does James Harden say, okay, I'm the problem? But that's neither here nor there, right? Now, as far as Terance Mann and his contract, like, it's not something that is of desperation right now, right? Right? Like, he still has another year under his contract. But again, they would not be able to sign James Harden in free agency. So, what if Terance Mann doesn't want to sign a new extension and he wants a bigger role elsewhere, or he wants to do something elsewhere, or whatever, right? He's 27. He's not, like, if he was 22, 23 and playing the way that he's been playing, I could understand the argument a little more, right? I could get behind the argument a little more. But he's not. He's 27. He's closer to a finished product than he is to some great upside, right? Like, I don't see him all of a sudden becoming like the best two-way guy in the league or something crazy like that, right? And I understand James Harden isn't the James Harden of old. And I understand James Harden, you know, he's only getting older too. But one, the Clippers are in win now mode. Two, he still led the league in assists and is a 20 and 12 guy, right? Like, come on. And the Clippers could use another playmaker, right? Like, because he can fill in the spots when James Harden or when Russell Westbrook isn't on the court, right? So you could always keep one of them on the court to be a playmaker. And then also on top of that, he could be a shooter and play off the ball. And we saw him in Brooklyn be able to kind of just play point guard. But he's also still always a constant scoring threat. And it's just, and like, look, I've seen, you know, the comments, I've seen people push back like, oh, well, you know, it's not the Clippers' job to bail out Houston Rockets. They're not bailing out. Like, Daryl Morey care less about trading James Harden. We know he's stubborn. We know that like you're getting James Harden. You're not. It's not like you're just out of the kindness of your heart taking some long term crazy salary that makes no sense, right? Like let's not pretend like the Clippers aren't getting anything out of it. Like it doesn't make any sense for the Clippers. Like I don't think or understand why the Clippers would necessarily want James Harden. I don't think James Harden makes them better, like or that much better. I think he makes them better than Terance Mann. I do. Like James Harden is a better player than Terance Mann, without a question. James Harden will make the Clippers better than they are right now with Terance Mann. I just don't think that they make them that much better to where it's like, now the Clippers are, a top 3 to 5 team in the league. I don't. I think James Harden, in theory, the idea of like, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, that's tough, right? Definitely star-studded. And then you got Zoo in the middle. Like, that's tough. I just don't think it's going to translate the way that it does on paper, right? We've already seen what James Harden and Russell Westbrook can do, right? We've already seen how that works, how that pairing works. I mean, granted, they didn't have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but still, right? But if you're the Clippers, I mean, it's just, you're going to have to sign James Harden long term. So it's like, okay, well, do we really want to make that commitment to him? And what happens if something goes wrong and now he wants out of here? And we have him tied up in all this salary and stuff like that. Because Steve Ballmer doesn't care about the money. Like, dude, the guy has $1 billion sitting under his couch cushion. Like, we have spare change in the couch. He has $100 bills. Right? Like, he's not worried about the money. It's not the money, but it's from a basketball standpoint. Like we give James Harden all this long-term money and re-sign him to an extension and yada, yada, yada. And then it's like, now he wants out and now he's basically untradeable because nobody wants to touch him. I mean, no one wants to touch him now, right? I mean, and this has got to be a huge wake-up call to James Harden. Seriously, right? Like, dude, you're James Harden. You are a Hall of Fame type player. You are a former MVP. You are one of the most gifted scorers the game has ever seen. And a team that you want to go to, you have made it very clear you want to go to, and the Sixers and Daryl Morey has done what he can to send you there, isn't willing to give up Terance Mann for you. Like, let that sink in for a second. The Clippers would rather keep Terance Mann and run the risk of not getting James Harden than trading Terance Mann to go get James Harden. Like, it's not because of James Harden, the player. I'll tell you that. Right? Because every team in the league, if they were in this situation, would go trade Terance. Like, it wouldn't even be a question. If we're talking about just his talent, right? Like, come on, that's a no-brainer. You go get him and then you figure it out and make it work. At worst, you could probably trade him for more than Terance Mann. But the issue is, it's not his play. It's his mental, and it's his behavior, and it's the way he's conducted himself this offseason and the last few seasons. Him completely quitting on teams. And now you hear all the noise with Philadelphia, and it's like, oh, well, James Harden has not shown up to practice. He went to that one game, showed face, kissed the baby and left. Like, and no one's seen him since, right? Like, this is just, it's not good. And it's just getting dragged on for whatever reason. But I do think the extension thing could make things interesting. Because, like I said, now, again, it's not something that has to be desperate this year. But what are the chances that you're going to get somebody better than James Harden for Terance Mann next season if you have to trade him? And then if you don't trade him and you trust, like, oh, he'll just sign a new extension in free agency, and then you lose him for nothing? I mean, talk about having ego. You could have gotten James Harden, but you decided, nah, we're not going to do that. We'd rather keep Terance Mann, and then Terance Mann just leaves you for nothing. That would be a ridiculous blunder. That's borderline just It's a fireable offense, in my opinion. But, anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think, this could complicate things? This could make things, not necessarily complicate things, but put things more in the Sixers' favor? Do you think, no, it doesn't change anything? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.